Okay, so I'm coming back to this one after a bit of a break for a couple of weeks. I got ill after the live draw-along session, and I promised that I was going to finish this one. As you can hear, I'm a little bit bunged up still, but we're a couple of weeks later, and I'm very frustrated that I didn't manage to get this one finished. But I'm back on it now. I'm going to record what we do. Literally pick up where we left off. We worked mainly just on this eye on the left-hand side, so what I need to do is get the right eye now up to the same level as the left-hand eye, and then we'll come in and I'll decide how I'm going to finish off this fur area, probably just with some pan pastels, maybe with pastel pencils. We'll see. You'll excuse me if I'm a little bit nasally and I might cough, but we need to get this one to the finish, and I can't put it off any longer, so hopefully my voice will last out as well, but I'm going to do it in little stints. So the first thing I've done is just sharpen up all my pencils again, and I've got that raisin. So we need to just come in around the edges and to come in and work on some of the flecks within the eyes as well. So it's a repetition of what we did on the left-hand eye, and also what we've carried on doing, those extra layers. Normally if you were doing this, obviously for time during the live session, I worked both eyes to start with, and then flipped over to that left-hand side just because I was aware of the timing issue. So now I'm going to bring this one up to the same amount of layers as the left-hand one. Okay? So, raisin first. We'll come in around this outside edge. The right-hand eye is slightly different in colour. But remember what happened on that left-hand eye when we came in at the end and we brought in that lovely, I think it was the flame, wasn't it? Was it the flame? Yeah, that flame orange right at the end. Remember what a lift that gave? So what we'll do is we'll come in over, this is again now what I'm doing here is coming in over the top, and literally we're trying just to fill some of this tooth, take away that graininess. We don't want that grainy texture showing through, and it'll look a little bit odd because it'll be sort of, we're taking this one over on the right hand side quite dark with some of these, you know, the raisin and etc that we're bringing in. But then we'll be coming in over the top with our brighter colours and then our lights, so dark, mid-tone and then lights. Trust that process, remember. But the only way we can get this to smooth out, and it's like I've mentioned on the live as well, you know, a lot of people might go, actually this eye looks fine, let's just leave it there. And same, this eye looks fine. If I came in here, over here with another lot of layers, repeating my darks to my lights, nice and gentle, slow the process down, it would go from looking, you know, quite good as an eye to looking wowzers. And that's what it is, it's just pushing it, those extra layers. And if until this point, you know, you haven't pushed it far because you think, oh, that looks good, give it a go. Just take it that extra step and you'll be amazed. And that's what, I could say, that's what will take your work to that next level. So I'm literally coming in with a few little squiggles, lovely technical term, remember, squiggles. And again, I'm not worried about mine being absolutely exact. It will look like those cat eyes. And I'm just going to come in and add, I'm adding a few more of the flecks. Remember, I'm doing these strokes as well. Either circular motion, clockwise or counterclockwise. Or with the flecks, I'm coming in and I'm doing them in towards the pupil. Remember, think of it like a clock, the hands on the clock. They're coming in towards that centre point from the outside edge. And like I say, I do apologise if I have to cough at all. I drew the line at eating a cough sweet. But like I say, I just want to get this one to the finish. Or close to the finish, just so you know you've got an idea. Okay, so that is little hints of that razor. I'm going to bring a little bit in around that pupil as well there. Some little touches. The light over the top of, or the shadow over the top of this iris, the eye on the right hand side, is just a little bit more pronounced than the one on the left. In fact, like I say, I might even come in over on this side and just tweak, because I'm coming back to this with fresh eyes, remember, because it's been a good couple of weeks, almost 3 weeks since I've touched this one. Very, very light touch. When I'm holding the pencil halfway up like that, I can't put a lot of pressure down, so it allows you, if you find you've got a hard or a heavy pressure, that's what's frustrating you, then just ease off and hold your pencil a bit further up. Okay. Okay, so that's it for my raisin. Next in, we've got the Venetian Red. And from Venetian Red we'll go on to our dark honey as well. So Venetian Red first of all, so really again, look in, very gentle, and just, we're just adding a few little touches now in over some of the areas that just look a little bit more reddish. Just mainly up and around the top there. Little tweaks around this outside edge. I'm just noticing that it just feels like got a little bit of a point. Let me just round that edge, around that eye. Just come down and around that lid as well. This is my black polychrome, as I've just pulled in there a second, just to really enhance that lovely dark shadow. And I'm going to do exactly the same in the corner of the eye there as well. Just take that right down. I'm not pressing any harder, I've just come in over that corner. Down and around that bottom edge. I need to sharpen that pencil up a little bit really. It's quite nice actually, the pigment will catch on what the pigment's already down, so the pigment on the pencil will catch on what is down. I'm going to do exactly the same over on this other side. So you'll see me now. Yes, I'm intentionally working on the right hand side to bring it up to the same level as the left, but at the same time I'm thinking, actually that needs to be done as well, so I'm just going to come in and push the value of that surround. See, I'm holding it quite loosely. Just going to push the value, push those darks down around the eye, and that will just sink it all back down again nicely as well. Give it a lovely frame, that lovely frame. And there we go, that's just pushed all of that down. When you sink that back, it makes the eye pop forward a little bit more as well, just that little hint of that shadow in and around. Okay, Venetian Red. Let's carry on. So just adding some little flecks, coming over the top of some of the raisin. The raisin's quite a nice, lovely, chestnutty, reddy brown anyway. Venetian Red just adds that tiny bit more of a push. Now the other thing today, because we're quite relaxed here in the studio today, you might hear a pitter-patter behind me, and that's the dogs just having a wander around. I don't want to shut them out, and this is an informal session. Normally, obviously if they bark, I will pause and edit that out, but at the moment, let's say just them pitter-pattering around, I will allow that today. Normally I edit everything out like that, so in any of my regular tutorials you won't really hear the dogs barking. If you do, then it's followed by a brief pause. I'm really working very light here. Okay, so you can see the intensity of what's happened there, and this is where we're going to do, once we do go up through our midtones and our lights, it'll soften back down again. But it's just really increasing that vibrancy, and of course fill in the tooth. So dark honey next. So dark honey. We're not bringing it in all over, we're just picking out the areas. And we've got that lovely yellow ochre to come in as well. So we're picking out some of the areas. You can see, just like I say, just keep your eyes flicking back and forth again to that reference. It's mainly just up over the edges there. Love, 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 love this colour. And bring it in over some of those little flecks. Whilst I'm here, I might even bring a little touch more. Just some little hints over on this left hand side. If we need to soften them down again, we can just come in over the top with our lights. Keep repeating it. We've got all that allowance of increasing our pressure if we want to. So next we moved on to our yellows. So we used our yellow ochre first and then the brightest one, which was the golden sun. So again, in, up and around, nice sharp point on them, up and around, picking out those really brighter yellowy areas, in and around, over the top of some of our Venetian red and our raisin, down, through, some little touches. Remember, we've got that brighter golden sun as well to come in. So the yellow ochre is a little bit softer. It's much better when you're doing this. I know, for, like I say, for the live, I worked that eye almost to completion. Not this one, but normally the way we started the layers, this one, this one, this one, this one, and balancing it and keeping it like balanced all the way through, that is normally how I would work, and that's how I'd recommend you work. Definitely don't do one eye, then get ill, and try and come back to it 3 weeks later, because it's a little bit difficult to remember. And you just, even if you did it the next day, or even a few hours afterwards, you're going to do it slightly different to how you originally did that first eye. So I'm bringing that in. Yellow ochre. Up through there. Just softening down some of those darker flecks. And then we'll move up to our golden sun, which is the brighter one. Okay, let's look really closely. And I am aware, excuse me, that we brought in that flame at the end of the last session as well. That lovely orange that really lifted. The fiery reddish orange around the outside edges of the eye itself. So this is the brighter of the yellows. I'm just coming in again, like I say, I'm picking out where this needs to be. Still not pressing very hard. That's lovely coming down through there. I'm going counterclockwise, clockwise, rotating my way up through. I'm looking at this now as well, and I can almost see other colours in here, because I can see like a salmony, peachy colour through here as well. So, same as I said in the live, if you see other colours, don't hesitate to pull them in. I'm just giving you a guide to follow here, that, you know, if you want to use the same colours as me, absolutely fine. So I'm going to come over this side again now with this golden sun, and just very gently, I'm going to add a few touches in to really oomph up. Give it some oomph. Some of that bright, lovely yellowy tinges over and around. Lovely, lovely, lovely. It's quite interesting, like I say, look how bright this looks over here. Whoa. And how much softer. I quite like the fact, for the teaching purpose, that you can see where I took that one to compared to the base layers on this one, and now where I'm taking this one to compared to almost the finished layers over on that one with all the lights. So you can see how it can look quite scary at times, because you're coming in and you're adding in all these darks and then brights, and you're thinking, oh, why have we done that? It was looking quite nice as it was. It looked like an eye. It looked like a cat eye. Why is she doing it? And it's that whole thing, like I say, of being able to trust that process. Whilst I'm here, let me come into that eye again. I can't remember what did we use. Was it the wheat or one of the greys? Mist, wasn't it, I think. I've got the white. Let me come in with the white, and I'll come in with the mist as well. I just want to come in. Just come into there. I just need another layer in through here, because it's looking very grainy itself. Bring the mist in over the top. I'm going to pull that mist out and over into that edge, into that corner there. Back over the top of the white. You see I'm going up and across. That just puts an extra layer of pigment down. So the grey and the white mix together beautifully to give a lighter version of the grey. And then if you spill out over the edges at all, you just come in with your dark around there. So you can come in with that black in over the top, and that will correct anything. So you can come back in. Well, that needs to be a little bit sharper, so you can just come in and around with that black. Light pressure again, and strengthen up anything that you need to just through there. Okay, so you can always keep coming in and adding those extra layers and details. Okay, so we're moving up to our lights next. Okay, so before I move on, I just want to make sure I'm going to do one very light layer. Very light layer, just, this is really light, I'm just coming in to add a real touch more of the yellow ochre, like a glaze, very, very light glaze. In other words, one light layer over most, very loose as well, I've just done, very light layer over that whole of that iris. You can see how yellow that's gone. It looks amazing. So next we've got champagne. So champagne's got a nice yellowy tinge to it. So now we're just going to come in and start to lift up some of these lights. Okay, so you can use this back and forth in towards the pupil or scumble. Scumbling, make sure you're changing directions. And you can use them, like I say, just use a mix of the two. If you come in over the pupil, remember you can just come back in over the top again with your black or your darks into that eye. And we're going to bring the wheat in over the top of this as well. So any super lights, we can bring the wheat in to lift them up even more. So just nice and steady, work your way around, looking at that reference. Look at that reference. And it's lovely because you can see how much this is rich and richened up, enriched, richened up, got richer. Is looking much richer now compared to those initial few layers that we had down when we got started on this second stint on this eye. It's coming all the way over this side. Just look at the reference. That's all you want to do. Is keep your pencil on the paper almost and keep working your way. Get my words out. Working your way around. This kind of helps to smooth out. It's not burnishing because we're not using a heavy pressure. It's glazing again, but it's kind of a little bit more than a glaze because we are. This is where the smoothness really comes in now over the eye with these lights. And as I mentioned earlier, if you wanted to come in and increase the pressure even more, or do more, repeat the layers once more. So I'm just balancing it out, coming over to that left hand side again. And I just know what a pop that made with that with that flame that we brought in at the end, that lovely orange. All I can do is see that orange through. And I'm itching to get it in, but we added it at the finish on the other side, so we'll do the same process on this one as well. So I've got the wheat next. The wheat is going to add in those final lifts to lift up these flecks, these light flecks in through here. And once we've done the outside as well, once we've done the fur, we can come back in once more and do any final tweaks, because when we add the fur, that is going to change how everything looks, because it kind of gives it that frame. And it might throw a few things out of balance, so we might just need to do some more tweaks. So that is absolutely fine. We've got that lovely allowance then. Just coming around. Hopefully that's starting to settle down a little bit now. It's not be quite as bright. If you need to increase your pressure, you can. But I am itching. And I think at this point, I might just come in with our flame now and start to add in a few little touches to really brighten up, give us that love. Oh, look at it, isn't it wonderful? Once you start to add that, look at it, it just glows. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. So up and around. If it goes too bright, you just come back in with your raisin that Venetian red and soften it back down again. Even a little touch of chocolate if you need to, just to make it a little bit darker. A few little flecks. I think I didn't do it on this side. I'm going to add a little touch in through there, and I'll put a glaze of the wheat over the top. That's nice. Still, it's still quite rough texture over on that left hand side as well, so you could, say we could definitely come in and repeat the layers again. It's just how far you want to take your piece, but knowing that you can, and just for this experiment, just go for it. And I think once you've done it once, you'll then want to come back in and do that again. Oh, let me get the champagne. Champagne's got a little bit more yellowy to it. Just in over the top, pull it out. I'm liking that. Same on this side. And it's the thing as well, even though in the reference photo, the coloration on this right hand eye is a little bit darker and a little bit brighter, what I'll likely do is, once we've got our surround, our fur work done, I will more than likely come back in then and not use the reference photo for the final layers. I'll repeat and I'll just balance it a little bit more. And that's my artistic license, my artistic discretion. I can do that. And I'll repeat, mine does not look exactly the same as the reference, but it's a pair of beautiful orange amber cat eyes. And as someone said to me once, we do our worst work as tutors when we're teaching, especially on a live class. So despite all the years of practice, I know that, sort of, this isn't the best of what I can do, because I'm talking and thinking ahead and this, that and the other. It does come quite very well practiced at it. But if you had time to sit and do this without any extra pressures and you can just enjoy it, that will come through in your piece. I'm not saying that I don't like what I'm done, but I just feel that, I'd have it a little bit more balanced if I could have done it all in one go, and you can probably see that as well. So I'll just continue just to work on both sides at the same time. I might even, do you know what I might do? Is just bring the white in. Let me get my white. I'm going to bring the white in over here. Just lift. The white just mixes with the champagne, the wheat, etc. It'll just mix. Because there's some real lovely textures in through here, but I don't want to make it look too textured, but I want to just lift some of this, a teeny weeny bit more. That's nice. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to come into this. I might need to sharpen up actually. Let's go into that highlight once more. Take it a little bit bigger than it needs to be. And we'll come in and around it with our black and knock it back down again. It's absolutely fine. Same around this lower lid there. Let's just take a few little lift that highlight up a little bit more through there. And then we'll come in a few little twiggles. Twiggles? It's a new one on me. Squiggles. Squiggles. A twiggle. I'm not well. You have to forgive me. I'm trying my best. And I need to come into that pupil again and just settle that down again once more. But I think, you know, it's looking okay. Little squiggles down through there. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm really pleased with it. Yeah, we could take it darker. We could do this. We could do that. But for the purpose of this lesson, it's a little bit now of the raisin, just to come back in over some of those areas and just darken it up a little bit more. That will mix with that lovely flame as well. Really gentle. Lovely. Right down in the crevice there, right down. Through there. That's great. That's nice. Okay. Just zoom out a tiny little bit. And I think what we're going to do is come in now and there's a little bit more of that flame over there. I'll continue tweaking this, let's say, as I'm working. But I want to come in now and we'll just add in our pan pastel around the outside. Just so I've got something down all the way around. And we'll come back in and do any final tweaks on this, on these eyes at the finish there. A little touch, I think, again of our yellow ochre in places. That's nice. Bit of balancing. If you've only done the one eye, you don't have this problem. So if you just did the one eye for the tutorial, clever you. Oh, let me just come back in again. That's a little bit blunt. I'll just sharpen it, give it a little turn. In my little sharpener, bring it up a little bit sharper. I'll just come back in. Into there. There we go. That's great. That it's worked really nicely. Payne's Grey I think we used through there, wasn't it? Let's get the Payne's Grey. Do another layer of this Payne's Grey just up and around this outside edge before we come in with our pastel work. And just in through there. Yeah, like I say, I think I'll get the pan pastel down, see how far we can take it with pan pastel. We've got to come in and get those real lovely bright highlights in underneath, that lovely wet look on that inner underneath top edge of our lower lid. That's something we can do at the end. Excuse me. But for now, I really want to just get some fur in there. So I need something in there, some pigment in there. So I'm going to come in with those pan pastels again. Right, so now I'm going to come in with some of my pan pastels again, just to get a hint of our fur work in. So I've got a reference here as well, but I am going to turn. I know when I did the live stream I didn't turn. I'm just going to turn as I do this, because it just enables me just to get in a lot easier with my my tools, my soft tools here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in. I picked up another shade of the grey as well, just because I want to do this quite quick. So the main focus on this were the eyes themselves. So I've got a neutral grey, extra dark there. I'm going to come in with that one just around this top section. Do a nice little sweep, pick up, and I'm just going to come in and dab this down across this top section here. And I will mix some Payne's grey in with this as well, but I just want to press some pigment down up and along here, just so I've got, like I say, some pigment down there, and then I can build on that then. Key thing is, like I say, just to get something down. You can see there's no dust. I'm just pressing, so I'm managing to press all of that down into the surface there. Around that lower area. I know I need to get my lights in around on this side, but I'm just gonna... I kind of keep pressing with... Oopsie, gone off. I kind of keep pressing with my soft tool until I've used up all that pigment really that I've just lifted on. There's no wastage then either, so I'll bring a little bit in over on this side as well. Just dab, 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 dab as I do it. I'll turn it back around in a second so you can just see a little bit better what I'm doing. It's just easier for me to keep turning my paper just to get that initial lot of pigment down. So we're back around the right way now. Come back in around this lower edge. And a little touch up through here as well, just on the top of that nose. And through here, we're going to bring in the Payne's grey again in a second, but I'm going to get some light down on this side. I'll get something down all over, and then we've got a nice, we filled the whole area then. I'll just use the same soft tool. So, Payne's grey, pick up. I'm going to spin again, I'm going to come in over the top. I'll come in over the top of some of this, just to get some of that lovely bluiness coming in. It'll mix really nicely. Oh, I sound full of cold again today, don't I? Okay, so a little dab over there. Okay, and a little bit over on this side. And I'm going to push a little bit down into this, underneath this lid. We'll bring some black in there as well. Just take it down with a Payne's grey first of all. And a little sweep around that lower eye. Gently, don't press too hard because you will, let's say, you'll drag and rip your soft tool, so just very gently. Works so much better. You can glide your soft tool over the top, over your surface, once you've got a nice foundation down. Until you've got that lovely foundation down though, just be really careful. So another little touch of the Payne's grey, and again this time I'll just come in here. Yeah, we've got a nice mix of it in there. It's good just to get something down and around there. Don't worry about any spillage, that's absolutely fine. So I'll pick up the white next. Could use that neutral grey tint if you wanted to. I'll come back in. I'm just going to push some of this back up through and over. Doing it in the direction of the fur. And then as you've got less pigment on there, you can come in on the areas that just need a little hint of it. So a little bit more down around there. And I'm just going to start to turn my tool onto one side now, and I'll just start to give a little hint of a different texture. Just coming around there. My photo is spun with me. I've got two photos here, so I'm following that one as well. Okay, and I'll do the same up here as well. I'll pick up some of the neutral grey tint, some of the white, and we'll just start to break it up as we come up and over, just using the side of our tool there. Okay. Just breaking that over. So I'll pull some of the light up into the dark and some of the dark back down into the light. I need to keep turning, let's say, just to give me a good angle to get in at. Otherwise I'm trying to turn my hand around here and it just doesn't work. So get some of that texture up through there as well. But let me get this light in around this side. So I'll pick up a little bit of white, a little bit of a neutral grey, the tint, and we'll just start to do the same. We'll just start to get some light in on this side, just so again, like using that pressing down method first of all, just to build something up. I'm tempted just to come in with a few pastel pencils. I don't want to overdo it though, because like I say, the main point of this tutorial was to get those eyes in. So whatever we can, however far we can take it with our pastel, just using our applicators, is kind of what the intention was. You'll see my pastel mat's bouncing a little bit. That's because I haven't got it anchored down whilst I'm doing this, so because I'm spinning it, but you can anchor it down at each stage if you want to. I'm just being a little bit speedy. A little bit speedy. That's nice. A little bit of the grey tint just up and over there. And when I do this dabbing, I think I've got something down all over there now. That's looking good. What I'm going to do is I'll come in and I will anchor it down again so that I haven't got this bounce. Just get it nice and steady. But there we go, we've got something down all around now, and it's just really good. It's just lush, just giving it that extra little bit of oomph. So I'm going to come in now and I'm going to use the side of my tools. And I might even grab another little tool as well. Let's just see how we get on. So I'm going to anchor down whilst I do this lower area first of all. So I'm going to bring in my magnets again there. And then when I turn, I'll anchor down again. Nicely positioned for you. There we go. So I'll get my white over here. I'm just literally going to dab the side like that. Just dab the side. And we're going to come in, say around this lower edge. And let's just start to break up some of that texture through there. Okay. Looks a little bit odd to start with. All it does is we'll keep repeating, patting it down. It just starts to break up some of this blocky texture. over through here. Yeah, I think I'll come in. What I'm going to do is literally just come in with a few pastel pencils. You can come in with colour pencils, it just takes a little bit more work with the colour pencils. I'm just conscious I want to get this one done. And that's just started to break that up nicely. Let's do the same up here. And what I'm going to do is I'll come in with the Payne's grey up here and do a similar kind of stroke. That's lovely. Okay, let's see if I can angle any of this. That's lovely. I'm going to have to spin around the side because I cannot just get it in at that angle very well. I can go up and over, fine. Oh, I might be able to. Let's have a look, let's just see. If I can just... It's not great. So spin if you can. And what I'm going to do is go and dig out a few of my pastel pencils because I just want to be able to get this effect done so that I can leave this one then. So I'll just come in with the Payne's grey, a few little touches, back in, break some of that up. Tempted even just to come in with a little few touches of black as well, because it is quite dark, or whether I'll just leave that for the pencil work, to be fair. There we go. A few little dips. I'm going to bring a little hint of this Payne's grey just down and around that lower lid. It's nice. And the same on this side. Again, the angle's not great. And there we go. A few little dabs over there, just to take that back down. But you can see that's just broken that texture up just that tiny little bit. I'll move that one up for you. Okay, it's starting to look like there's some fur there now anyway. So I'm literally going to do the least amount of work with the pencils, hopefully. I'm going to go and grab them. I'm going to get my softest ones and see if I can just literally come in, accentuate this a little bit more and keep it quite fluffy. And we'll just see how we get on. Okay, so I've grabbed just a handful of my Caran d'Ache pastel pencils. And I'm literally just going to come in and just accentuate this fur a little bit more. I'm quite happy with how it's looking anyway. So I've got a slate grey. I think I've got a greyish black. I need to pull out a black as well. Let's get my darkest one I've got here. Greyish black. So literally I'm just going to come in quite loosely and start just to break up a little bit more some of this fur work. Start to give it a little bit of texture. Yeah, definitely need the black. Need to take it a little bit darker, but this will be fine just for us to start to break up even more. You could do this all with pencils if you wanted to. If you haven't got pan pastels, you could just do it with colour pencil. Just take you a little bit longer. But just again, just keep an eye on your fur direction when doing this. I don't want to do, like, say, a huge amount of work, because I'm quite happy. It's very light, that bow. It's very bluish grey, which is fine. We do need to take it a little bit darker. This will just help us to get going. See, I'm just working it quite loosely. Pull some of your strokes upwards, lift away, and you can pull some down and away as well. It'll look quite rough to start with, so I'm doing this a little bit quicker than I normally would. You take a little bit more time than I am. Definitely dig out my black in a second just so we can take this down nice and dark. I've got my pencils quite blunt as well. That means I'm not going in with too much fine detail. I can just come in quite blocky and start. It's kind of like the side of our soft tools when we were putting down those pastels earlier broke up, started to break up the pastel a little bit, and this will just help to break it up that tiny touch more. We'll rotate between our darks and our lights. There we go. Okay, put another dark grey there. That's the slate. Oh no, this is the Payne's grey, 50%. So this one's quite a bluish one. Let's have a look at this one. I think, to be honest, it's a little bit too light and blue. I'll come in a little bit around here because it is a British blue short hair. So let's get a little bit of this running through the fur, just a little touch. My reference photo actually looks a little bit more like purplish. But that's fine. There we go, it's broken up a little bit more. Let's go in next with our, this is the steel grey. I think again this one looks a little bit too blue, but what it looks like on the end of the pencil, on this paint end, and then we come in Yeah, it's a little bit too, it is looking a little bit too bluey. Let's come into the white areas a little bit and just put a few little touches through there. I think we just need a slightly warmer grey rather than these quite cold greys. This is fine. It's giving the effect. So we'll pull some of those lights up, just up into the... Keep an eye on the direction. Always keep an eye on the direction of your fur. We'll come in with our lightest light in a second as well over the top. I'll see if I've got any warmer light greys. Again, turn your paper if you need to get yourself a nice flick as you're doing this. I'm just going for effect, I'm not going for exact realism. Still just to give it a little bit of a nice finish around this eye. There we go. It's just breaking it up nicely anyway, even though it's like a little bit too bluey grey. It's breaking it up nicely through there. You can see I'm not really overthinking it, I'm just kind of doing little strokes. Definitely need to get something, like say, lighter through that. That's the light grey. Let's just come straight in. Just try this light grey. I'm trying to go work our way up gently. Even the light grey is very kind of like bluey steely grey. It's not the grey that I'm looking for really. So I think I'm going to have to pull in, what's the other one I've got? I've got here French grey 10%. That looks much more promising. Let's just pull this in first of all. I need to bring in the dark, so I'll probably repeat these layers. We'll do it twice. Get this little foundation going, then we'll come in with our darks, take it back down again and refine a little bit, and then I think that is all I want to do. Definitely need, like I say, a darker pencil in underneath all of this. So at the moment it's looking a little bit scary. So always remember with your cat's nose, fur kind of comes up and curls around and then comes down. It's a real strange little one. Catches a lot of people out. Yeah, bring that French grey in next. Just breaking it up, like so, it's breaking it up nicely through there, even if it's a little bit bluey, that's fine. Do the same on this side. See if I can get in over on this side without changing my angle too much. That's good. And pull some of this around here, just like we've done on the other side. Each time we do this, it'll refine a little bit more. It's kind of how I work when I work with the colour pencils, but a little bit more attention to detail. So you just start, like I say, breaking up those bigger shapes with some texture lines. Right, I'm going to bring in that French grey next, then a white, and then I'm going to bring in the dark. I'll see if I can go find a nice dark black or grey. Might be black, I think it's going to have to be black, or a real dark. If I can find a real dark Payne's grey pencil, that will really help. Okay, but you can see it's starting to fluff up a little bit, so this is the French grey 10% now. So let's hope that this one gives us a little bit more. It's much better. Much better. I'll put a few more deliberate strokes down. I could do it going a little bit sharper, so maybe when I do the final layer we'll come in a little bit sharper. I'm going to bring my soft tool in over some of this and soften it down again with a few pats, just to kind of like blur it out and soften up that fur again. Might seem counterintuitive, but it will still leave a little bit of the detailing, but not these like real obvious strokes. There's no rules. Find your own way. Use your finger if you want to pat it down. Mine's going to be nowhere really exact because I'm not prepared to spend the time, but this was a tutorial to show you really how to use those colour pencils on the eyes, and that is done. Unless we do a few tweaks at the end. So this is just kind of to give us a nice surround to that work. So how far you take your refinement is completely up to you. Keep turning that pencil. It'll help to keep a little sharp nib as we keep turning it, just like when we use our colour pencils. Change the length of your strokes to match the length of the fur that you're depicting. So this is a French grey 10% again. So if you're doing with colour pencils, what will happen is when you put it down on the pans, you'll see some of the tooth showing through. So you can choose to carry on pressing down with your pencils, building up the layers, or you can just rotate and bring in a little touch more of your pastel and pat it all down again. You can do that as well. Just coming in around that lower lid there. Add on a little touch there, a little hint of that lower lid. Do the same on this side. You could do it with a nice pinky colour if you wanted to, like a pinky lilac-y colour. In through there. I'll just give a little hint of that lower lid. So we'll come in with the dark skin next, work back through those greys, maybe a bit more selective with the greys that we use. That's broken it up nicely. I should really turn this on its side so that I'm flicking it out to the right, but I'm just sticking with it. Please do turn yours so you get a nice natural flick as you're working. You get much more realism that way. Little hints. Some fur through there, just some little hints. Lovely. So I'm not sure that I want to come in with the white, to be honest. I think I'll leave it at this grey. I won't bring the white in. So let's just take it all back down. Let's get that dark pencil found. Definitely need to go darker than the grey that I've got. And I think we are going to call it quits then. One more go. A bit more layers. But you can see the effect, it's building, and the more that you do these little strokes, the more that it texturises even more. So it's up to you, it really is completely up to you how much you want to do this, how far you want to take it. You might want to come in and work nice and slow, be very precise, sharpen your pencils, make it yours. it's looking a little bit crude to my eyes at the moment still. So I will, like I say, I'll give it one more go. See what we come with. Okay, so I've pulled in. I wanted something that was a little bit got that purplish, like that Mars violet colour. So I've got the violet grey. I just want to pop in just some little tinges of this down around that lid, that lower lid, just through there. That's lovely, it's a really lovely colour coming through there. Let's do the same on this side as well. Darken it up a little bit through there. It was more noticeable underneath that left eye, but whilst I'm here I'm going to pop a little bit of this just down through. Because if you think about the skin is often quite pinky. So this like greyish, purplish tinge works really well through there. I'm probably going to use my colour pencil to come in and add this highlight through again. But I'm going to come in and just pop it in anyway with my pastel pencil, because we have come in over there with our pastel. Just see if that will catch nicely just on the edge of that pastel through there. And it is, it's catching on that really nicely through there. We'll do the same on this side, a couple of little tinges just in there. And then a few little flecks. Let me just get this tip just touching down. It's overlapped a couple of places there. I'll just brush those away. We'll knock those out with this black pencil there. Okay, so I've got the noir. It's a little bit non-responsive there, a tiny little bit. So I'm just going to come in with this black just in a few places to break through. Some of our fur, only some little tips. I'll sharpen up the nib again as well. Rake up through here. So we'll work our way up again with our greys. This is just to take out a few little bits a little bit darker. Little flecks up through there, just to break through that grey. See, this is the trouble now. What I end up doing, this is what I didn't want to do, is I end up trying to get as detailed with my pastel pencils as I would with my colour pencils, and that wasn't what I was aiming for, and I kind of just realised that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm coming in and I'm really overthinking things too much now, and it's my own undoing. I can't help myself. It's because I'm so used to using the colour pencils. And we get all of that lovely extra detail with our colour pencils. I'm trying to come in now and be all finicky and do the same thing with these pastel pencils, which wasn't what the intention was, of adding in, you know, a little touch of fur surround. If we wanted to go for real realism, I would have, let's say, done this with pencils. Wasn't planning on spending even this amount of time doing the fur work. But we are here now, so I'm going to just carry on. Work once more, so dark up to light. Following this fur around. Little dark area there. Kind of like the brow. Almost looks like quite browny, this pencil going down. I don't like this one either. It's definitely black. She says as she just double checks once more. It's fine. I could just blank it out and go and get my Carbothello or my Pitt pencils out, but I do like my Caran d'Ache. They're lovely and soft. But let's just carry on for now. Breaking it up nicely. So come all the way down into those lights. Just texturise a little bit all the way through there. Make sure you keep following the direction of that fur. It's funny, let's say when you look at the cats, I know that the nose goes different directions, but this little bit up over the top of that head as well, just keeping an eye, because it kind of curls around a little bit of it, and it curls up and over the brow itself. Don't worry, you take it a little bit darker than it needs to go, so we're coming back in with those lights, remember. That looks rough, doesn't it? Okay, so I've got the French grey 10% again now, so I'm going to come in with this one. And I might even bring in a little touch of some of this, the violet grey, because I really like that. So I'm going to bring a few little touches of the violet grey through, just a few little places just to soften up. This will work really nicely. Create an extra depth. If you see indigo or anything like that through yours, you know, don't be afraid to bring it in. Bring some little touches in. I quite like that. It's quite a nice little touch. Basically, you can just see, you can keep going with this, keep sharpening your pencils. If you want to get it much more refined than mine, just sharpen up, use a blade to get your pencil, your pastel pencil really, really sharp, if that's what you want to do. But I am literally just going to come in once more. This is the French grey 10% again now. So I'll spend a little bit of time just coming back through. Lifting a few little hairs. Don't want to overwork it. Just enough to give us that lovely hint. And you can keep pushing and pulling this. You can pull your darks back down again a little bit more if you want to. Break them up even more. It's up to you how far you want to take it. See, this is going to bug me now because I just don't feel I can get the same level of detail as I do when I use my colour pencils to do this. Let's just see what we get. And say if that goes too light, just come back in again with your darks and add a few more darks through there. Let's just do the same on this side. keeping turning my pencil. I've lost that little sharp nib there, but it's fine for these slightly bigger marks I'm creating there anyway. Few more. See, in my eyes, this isn't, it's not refined enough. It's not what I would achieve with my colour pencils. And the amount of time I'm spending on this now, I sort of come in and use my pencils. And that's the trouble why I don't tend to use my pastel pencils a lot, because I want to treat them like my colour pencils, and they're different. They're not the same. So you just got to be conscious of that and accepting of that they are not the same. They won't give you quite as fine detail. Let me just sharpen that one up a little bit though. Just take that a little bit sharper. You can use a little bit of sandpaper if you want as well, just to get a slightly sharper nib. And like I said, what I'm going to do is just come in once more with my... I could use a brush actually on this to soften it down. I want to soften this down a little bit now, so we're going to lose some of the strokes anyway. But I'm going to just soften it down, so we're just left with a few little hints of our strokes. I think let's say we're just going to leave this one there then. So I come in over the top with my soft tools. I'm literally just going to come in and just dab a little bit of this down just on that edge there. Soften down these edges so that we've got a nice soft, almost like fluffy detailing just around the edges. I'm just dabbing it down again, just softening up. Bringing it in through there, taking that right back down, nice and soft again. You can use your finger if you want, and it just gives a few different, slightly different effects through there. If you want to pull anything back in again, like I say, just come in with that light pencil, come in with your dark pencil again if you want to. You can repeat all of this as much as you want, sharpening your pencil up all the time, getting it, more and more refined, as much as you like. But to be honest, for a quick little project, I fussed this way too much. I should have just left it with, like the pan pastels, to be honest. coming in and doing all of this is a little bit taking it further than I'd intended. But there you go. So if you've watched all this one, if you've watched this second part as well, all these extra parts where I've just come in and done a bit more work, do let me see what you've done. I'll pop the little hashtag into the description of the video as well, so then if you want to post online I can come and find it. See, the more I fuss this now, it's like, oh, I'll bring a little bit more of that lovely, the violet through, because that is a lovely colour, that violet grey. I'll just keep fussing this like forever. And never get it to a point where I want to leave it. So I'm going to have to just stop in a second. After a few more fiddles. So yeah, I'm going to stop. Leave it pretty much there, but you can just see, you know, you just keep going as much as you want. So I really hope, let's say, if you have joined in on this one, that you've enjoyed it, you've got stuck in, at least had a go, and you've learnt some things. A key lesson here was the eyes themselves. So that was our main focus on these, not so much, you know, the fur surround. Okay, we've come in and we've added a little touch of the fur, but that wasn't, you know, the main lesson to be learnt here. So as I really hope you've enjoyed it. Maybe you'll join me for another one. You see, I'm still carrying on fiddling now. I brought the colour pencils in now and I'm fiddling even more. You can join me for another one. I've got some other free ones on my website that you can access. Or you can come over and join me on my Patreon for some, you know, more of these. We do these sessions every month. We do the DrawAlong sessions, and very soon I will be having my own drawing club, weekly drawing club, over on my new teaching channel, which is on. You can access all the information from my website, but the new teaching channel will be launching in March of this year as well. So, right, that's it. Stop. We're done. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope I get to see some of your finished pieces.